Farewell, Commander.
Hades 2 is out on early access, and I have some thoughts. So, in the words of LA Knight,
let me talk to you.
For the uninitiated or those living under a rock, Hades 2 is the successor to Supergiant's game's massive hit, Hades, which released in 2020. It was quickly named my 2020 Game of the Year. What's special about this release is that Hades 2 is the first sequel that Supergiant Games has ever released. Before I really get into what I like and dislike about the game, Hades 2 is in early access, so things I discuss may not be relevant when the game, and I am using air quotes, officially releases. The fact the game was released in early access has some people up in arms. There are people who do not believe that games shouldn't release in early access, or that early access is a crutch to release broken and buggy games. As an early adopter of the original Hades, Supergiant Games put an almost complete product onto Steam and then used player feedback to make changes. For those worried about the early access tag, this isn't some asset flip where you'll regret spending your $30. This is as close to a fully implemented game I have played in early access since I bought Baldur's Gate, I don't know, feels like forever ago. So here's what we're going to do with this impressions video. I'm not going to give you spoilers when it comes to Hades 2. In fact, I'm not going to talk about anything past the first level, since the first level and the fight with Hecate was in the tech test. The story beats I talk about are story beats that are introduced very early on in the game. Everything mentioned is discoverable in your first run or two. You are Melinoë, the daughter of Hades and Persephone and sister to Zagreus, who was saved by the Witch of the Crossroads, Hecate, as Kronos burned Olympus and killed her family. Your goal is to find Kronos and kill him for everything he has done to you. That is quite the different premise of a young man who was upset daddy made him stay in hell and all he wanted to do was solve his mommy issues. Hades 2 mechanics have differed slightly, and I've definitely needed some time to get used to it. I guess I should preface everything with that I'm about 2 hours into early access, so it's possible that Melinoë's kit changes down the road with upgrades. You start out with an attack, a special, and a cast. Unlike Zagreus's cast, which is a projectile based, Melinoë's cast is an AoE type. Her cast is pretty good because you can trap enemies in it and they're stuck there, or you can use it to ward off enemies and they're unable to move through the effect. All three moves, your attack, your special, your cast, have a charge component you can unleash by holding down the respective button. Doing this uses hex magic, which Melinoë has access to because she's a witch. Your hex magic, represented by the blue bar above your health meter, can be increased during runs by finding doors with the appropriate bottle on them. The biggest changes to me are the dash and the newly added sprint. In the original Hades, Zagreus had a double dash, which got me out of a lot of trouble. Like a ton. Melinoë doesn't have that, at least to start out with. She has one dash that seems to have a longer, and when I say longer, maybe by seconds, but a longer cooldown than Zagreus's. But unlike her brother, Melinoë has a sprint that can be utilized by holding down the respective prompt. This allows you to run at higher speeds, obviously. However, you can also just run around the map as long as you want. The nice addition to the sprint is now you can get boons to assist you with your sprinting powers. For example, in one run, I received a Zeus boon that struck enemies with lightning as I ran past them. There is a trade-off though, as using this sprinting boon depleted my hex magic. This added layer of hex magic really makes you plot out builds because if you are not dedicated to increasing your hex magic, you'll quickly run out. And the changes don't stop with just the kit. New to the Hades franchise is a gathering mechanic. In the first Hades, I can only remember stopping to fish. I cannot recall stopping to mine silver or pick flowers because everything you wanted was done with post-room rewards like darkness and diamonds and gemstones. In Hades 2, you'll find random items strewn about the map. Items like death caps and flowers are used to unlock upgrades. Speaking of darkness, that currency is no longer a thing in Hades 2, at least to my current 2-hour understanding. There are multiple currencies, for example, ashen dust, bones, etc. that you can find as room rewards that can be used to unlock tarot cards or as trade currency with a returning arms dealer. Arms dealer? He's not really an arms, he's more of a trader, but it doesn't matter. The tarot card system is new to Hades 2 as well, and it fits nicely with the witch theme. You can have 12 cards equipped at any time that will upgrade Melinoë. These upgrades could be faster casting time, starting with a Death Defiance, or more health and more magic. Using Ash and some of the other currency found in the game will unlock these cards, and it's up to you to equip the ones you want to begin the build with that you have going on in your old coconut. I don't know if you caught it, but I mentioned mining silver. Hades 2 will give you non-lethal equipment to use to get a task done. But the catch is it seems like you can only carry one at a time. If you're looking for a particular fish, you can only carry a fishing rod, which means all those silver ores, those sweet, sweet silver ores, are going untouched. Again, Hades 2 is making you choose what is more important to you as you walk the path of killing the Titan of Time. The level design is pretty much the same as the original as you move between segmented rooms and are rewarded with an item. If you defeat the boss of that layer, you move on to the next one and rinse and repeat until you win. If you can win? I don't know. The voice acting is once again superb, with Judy Alice Lee playing a Stormer in Melanoy and Amelia Tyler, the narrator from Baldur's Gate 3, doing an equally impressive job voicing Hecate. The writing is engaging, sharp, and funny, just as enthralling as it was in the first iteration. Before I wrap this up, Darren Korb absolutely smashes the music out of the park. Again, shocker? No. The first Hades had some of the best music in video games, with Korb calling it Mediterranean prog rock Halloween. And in this one, he hits the right chord again and again. Here's a little teaser for you. While most of the music is in the same vein as the first one, there's a wonderful song in the second stage that really had me sad. The boss wiped the floor with me. It was fantastic. I feel as though I talked a lot about a game where I've only played it for about 120 minutes so far, and that's because Hades 2 already feels like a polished gem. And I like that Supergiant Games is going to take their time with this one and listen to player feedback upon official release. If you're jonesing for more of the Hades universe, I would definitely dive in at $30 on Steam. If you enjoyed this impression, please leave a like. Hey, maybe hit that subscribe button. I don't know, I'm not your dad, but I could be one of the 3 dads that you enjoy watching here on YouTube, youtube.com/3dads on a console. Have yourselves a lovely weekend. Toodaloo.